Once upon a time, there were two merchants who were friends. Both of them were getting ready for business trip to sell their merchandise. So they had to decide whether to travel together. They agreed that since each had about 1500 carts and they were going to the same place along the same road, it would be too crowded to go at the same time. One decided that it would be much better to go first. He vowed the road will not be routed by the carts. He bullocks will be able to choose the best of all the grass. We will find the best fruit and vegetables to eat. My people will appreciate my leadership, and in the end, I will be able to bargain for the best pieces. The other merchant considered carefully and realized there were advantages to giving second. He thought, my friend's cart will level the ground, so we won't have to do any road work. He bullocks will eat the old rough grass and new tender shoot will spring up for mine to eat. In the same way, they will pick the old fruits and vegetables and fish. One will grow for us to enjoy. I won't have to waste my time bargaining when I can take the price already set and make my profit. So he agreed to let his friend go first. This friend will sure. He'd folded him and gotten the best of him, so he set our first on the journey. The merchant who went first had a troublesome time of it. They came to a wilderness called Waterless Desert, which the local people said was haunted by demons. When the caravan reached the middle of it, they met a large group coming from the opposite direction. They had carts that were mud, smeared and dripping with water. They had lotuses and water lilies in their hand and in the carts. The headman, who had a know-it-all attitude, said to the merchant, "Why are you carrying these heavy load of water? In a short time you will reach that oasis on the horizon with plenty of water to drink and dates to eat. Your bullocks are tired from pulling those heavy carts filling with extra water, so throw away the water and be kind to your overworked animal." Even though the local people had warned them, the merchant did not realize that these were not real people, but demons in disguise. They were even in danger of being eaten by them. Being confident and they were helpful people, he followed their advice and had all his water emptied onto the ground. As they continued on their way, they found an oasis or any water at all. Some realized they did not win, fooled by begin. Some realized they did win, fooled by begin. That might have been demons, and started to grumble and accuse the merchant. At the end of the day, all the people were tired out. The bullocks were too weak from lacks of water to pull their heavy cart. All the people and animals lay down in a haphazard manner and fell into a deep sleep. Lo and behold, during the night and demons came in their true frightening from the gobble up all the weak, defenseless being. When they were gone, there were only bones lying scattered around. Not one human or animal was left alive. After several months, the second merchant began his journey along the same way. When he arrived at the wilderness, he assembled all his people and advised them. This is called the waterless desert, and I have heard that it is haunted by demons and ghosts. Therefore, we should be careful, since there may be poison plant and foul water. Don't drink and local water without asking me. In this way, they started into the desert. After getting about halfway through, in the same way as with the first caravan, they were met by the water-soaked demons in disguise. They told them the oasis was near and they should throw away their water. But the wise merchant saw through them right away. He knew it did not make sense to have an oasis in a place called waterless desert, and behind these people had bulging red eyes and an aggressive and pushy attitude. So he suspected they might be demons. He told them to leave them alone, saying, "We are businessmen who don't throw away good water before we know where the next is coming from." Then, seeing that his own people had doubt, the merchant said to them, "Don't believe these people, who may be demons, until we actually find water. The oasis they point to may be just an illusion or a mirage. Have you ever heard of water in this waterless desert? Do you feel any rain, wind, or see any storm cloud?" They all said no, and he continued, "If we believe these stranger and throw away our water, then later we may not have any to drink or cook with. Then we will weak and thirsty. It would be easy to demons and come and rob us, or even eat us up. Therefore, until we really find water, do not waste even a drop." The caravan continued on this way, and that evening reached the place where the first caravan people and bullocks had been killed and eaten by the demons. They found the carts and human and animal bones lying all around. They recognized that the fully loaded cart and the escorted one belonged to the former caravan. The wise merchant told certain people to stand watch around the camp during the night. The next morning, the people ate breakfast and fed their bullocks well. They added to their goods and most valuable thing left from the first caravan. So they finished their journey very successfully and returned home safely, so that they and their families could enjoy their profit. The moral is, one must always be wise enough not to be fooled by tricky talk or false appearances. Once upon a time, a certain tradesman was leading a caravan to another country to sell his goods. Along the way, they came to the edge of severe hot sand desert. They asked about the found that during the daytime the sun heats up the fine sand until it as hot as charcoal, so no one can walk on it, not even bullocks or camels. So the caravan leaders hired a desert guide, one who could follow the stars, so they could travel only at night when the sand cools down. They began the dangerous night-time journey across the desert. A couple nights later, after eating their evening meals and waiting for the sand to cool, they started out again. Later that night, the desert guide, who was driving the first cart, saw from the stars and they were getting close to an other side of the desert. He had also overeaten, so that when he relaxed, he doesn't off to sleep. Then the bullocks, who, of course, could not tell direction by reading the stars, gradually turned to the side and went in a big wide circle until they ended up at the same place they had started from. By then it was morning, and the people realized they were back at the same spot they camped at the day before. They lost heart and began to cry about their condition, since the desert crossing was supposed to be over by now. They had no more water and were afraid they would die of thirst. They even began to blame the certain leader and the desert guide. "We can do nothing without water," they complained. Then the tradesman thought to himself, "If I lose courage now, in the middle of the disastrous situation, my leadership has no meaning. If I fall to weeping and regretting this misfortune and do nothing, all these good and bullocks and even the lives of the people, including myself, may be lost. I must be energetic and face the situation." So he began walking and forth, trying to think out a plan to save them all. Remembering alert out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a small clump of grass. He thought, without water, no palm could live in the desert. So he called over the most energetic of his fellow travelers and asked them to dig up the ground on that every spot. They dug, and after a while they got down to a large stone. Seeing it, they supported. Seeing it, they stopped and began to blame the leader again, saying, "This effort is useless. We are just wasting our time." But the tradesman replied, "No, my friends. If we give up the effort, we will all the ruined, and our poor animal will die. Let us be encouraged." As he said this, he got down into the hole, put his ear to the stone, and heard the sound of flowing water. Immediately he called over a boy who had been digging and said, "If you give up, we will all perish. So take this heavy hammer and strike the rock." The boy lifted the hammer over his head and hit the rock as hard as he could, and he himself was the most surprised when the rock split in two and a mighty flow of water gushed out from under it. Suddenly, all the people were overjoyed. They drank and bathed and washed the animal and cooked their food and ate. Before they left, they raised a high banner so that other travelers could see it from afar and come to the new spring in the middle of the hot sand desert. Then they continue on safely to the end of their journey. The moral is, don't give up too easily. Keep on trying until you reach the goal. Once upon a time, a king organized an event in his kingdom in which artists from all over the country was cancelled to show their skill. And those artists, a magician, also came to show his skill. But before the turn of the magician, many other magicians came and showed their magic. Now the magician got a little confused as to show kind of magic he should show to the king. Then he decided that he will show something different so that the king and everyone else would be surprised. When his turn came, he made the king's crown disappear with his magic. As soon as he received king's crown, all the people started laughing, but the king considered it as an insult to him. The king felt ashamed in front of the people. Without the crown, he got furious and ordered the magician to be arrested and sentenced to death. On the seventh day, as soon as the magician's wife heard this news, she came to see her husband in jail. They started weeping, but the magician was very optimistic. He consoled his wife and said, "Why are you crying? There are still 6 days left. Spend these 6 days happily, because anything can happen in these 6 days." The wife felt that her husband has gone mad to the news of his death. She would come every day, and every day magician would tell her not to panic and be happy. Eventually, the day of the death penalty came. The magician became sad and started crying. When the king asked him the reason for his crying, the magician said, "Your Majesty, I am not afraid of death, because after all, one day everyone has to die. But I am crying because if I die, then there will be a hug loss. I have been learning an art from last few years. I was teaching my horse to fly for the last 2 years, and in the next 1 year my horse would have learned to fly. But now I am going to die, and with my death that art will also end, and my horse will not be able to learn to fly. That's why I am crying." Hearing about the fly horse, the king thought, "If I have a flying horse, I will fly on the horse. No one can defeat me in war. I will become famous all over the world." The king started to be tempted. The king immediately said to the magician, "I can give you 1 more year, but you will have to give that flying horse to me." The magician replied, "Sure, sir. It will be my pleasure to give that flying horse to you." The king said, "If that horse could fly, then I will free you and give you a reward too. But if that horse could not fly, then I will hang you to death." The magician agreed and happily returned home. There was an atmosphere for mourning in the magician's house, and everyone was thinking that by now the magician must have been died. But everyone was surprised to see the magician alive. The magician told the whole thing to his family. His family was very happy too first, but later his wife became sad. She knew that there is no such horse which can fly, and then after 1 year the king will come to know this. He will hang the magician to death. But the magician explained to his wife and said that a year is a very long time, and we do not know what is going to happen in this 1 year. Therefore, let us not worry about future and enjoy the moment. And it happened that after 6 months, the king died suddenly, and after 3 months from the king's death, the horse died. Now neither the king was alive, nor the horse, and the magician was completely free now. Now, there are 2 life lessons we can learn from this story. The first lesson is that every problem has its solution. Only we have to find it. No matter how big a problem is, do not panic. Never give up and try till the last breath. Problem will continue in life, but worrying about these problem will do nothing. And the second lesson is that never worry about your future because future is uncertain. You never know what is going to happen in the next moment. Then we not to think positive about our future and be happy rather than nothing negative about our future and be unhappy. Something problem gets solved it on during the course of time, and sometime problem gets solved by our effort. But the important thing is it to be optimistic about our future and enjoy the present moment.